I mean, we're off to a compelling start. This is very
He's gone
anime.
rogue and betrayed his brother. It seems like that would happen.
Okay, we might need to turn it up a little bit if we're going to evaluate the quality of the music. This is definitely not the same graphics. I mean, if you quantify that, it's of course not. But if Slain was 8-bit, this is obviously not. 16 is because I feel like Slain was more of truly 16-bit. It wasn't as primitive as 8, but I'm not sure what this would qualify as then. This is definitely not strict pixel art.
It's simulated pixel art.
Yeah, kind of. Like this is almost rasterized or whatever the term for that kind of thing is. Huh. I'm already drawn in somewhat just by the fact that this is quite... This is still very anime. This is reminding me a lot of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, it's a little more pixely. Still very much stylized though. Okay, well the music is making a strong showing. It's of similar chiptuniness, but not quite chiptune. MIDI maybe is the right word. I don't need to know the patch. I don't need to know the patch notes. This is... Ooh boy. I mean, the music in Slain got to be pretty banging, but it did take a little while to get there. This is really coming out of the gate with it.
You hope that actually bodes well, or whether it's just
maybe they're showing it all up front and they got nothing later, but well, hey, it's gonna do the same thing where it's not gonna have mouse support. This is ye oldie. Discover the lore of hell by battling the realms, various challenges to test your might. I don't know what these differences would be. Just various challenges. That sounds like a sort of arcade mode. I want the story. Okay, I don't think the other one had voice acting. Okay, this has got... I don't know what to think, man. I locked off to the beginning. This dude...
You have to deal with...
If He-Man and Gene Simmons...
I could see that.
Gene Simmons, man.
Gene Simmons.
Okay. I got no clue what any of this means, bro. I'm very weirded out by the lack of mouse.
Redemption Road. We have 3 chances of redemption. 1 is reduced every time you die.
So it's just a live system?
Okay, so what is
increases
the other one?
The amount of experience. Well, let's we're not.
Does not unlock new agony level.
I rock. What did he say?
Select your... What?
Okay. It was just we get a. Oh, I can't select. Oh, I only get the one. Well, then why'd you tell me to? Okay, so I only get this one. A demonic hand. Like actual hand. So my weapon. Whoa. No, this is actually of similar caliber to Slain. I think maybe the cutscenes have a little bit more polish to them, but this is definitely in the right. The one thing I want to learn
is what I'm doing.
Well, because I remember thinking last time with Slain had a very archaic default set, and I had to change it to be WASD, but I didn't know that on the recording. K. Is the reason I can't use space for jump? Confirm and skip is space. No. Enter. I won't let me use enter? I am absolutely not using K for jump. But it won't let me use enter. That's what I would think to use for...
Use like one of the numbers.
Wow.
What? You have to turn numlock on. Is numlock on?
I usually have numlock on.
Oh, that's sad.
It's asking... shift return. That's not shift return. That's enter. Or is shift return... I don't know what shift return is. It's letting me use backspace. Escape. That's fine with me. Okay.
Dash.
Left shift I'm fine with. Interact with... Is that an L or an I?
Looks like an L.
These are two different letters.
That's J.
J. No, I want mouse controls, please. I want to attack. Oh, that's going to be awful because I and J. That's over here. That's the most unnatural way to hold this. Okay. Maybe that's why they wanted me to use K for that, but I'm just not going to. Wow. Okay, the music has definitely got something going for it. So did those save? So I and J. Oh, wait, I is interact, J is attack. Whoop! Oh, so these are like tutorial people. Similar called Hell Breath. Whoa, I can jump. Is that all I was gonna say? Am I gonna get in trouble for doing this? I would say the lack of weapon. If you jump on lava there. Oh. What does that do? Whoa! What?
That's dash?
That's not a dash, that's a friggin' teleport ability. I mean, it's dope, don't get me wrong, but the question is, does it pass the Castlevania test? Can I knock out the torches? I can't. Oh. Okay. Oh boy. What is with the weird demon baby? Okay,
what
so my
demon baby?
I just
the
killed
one
something.
Up there?
No, I just killed something. I'm away from my tutorializers. So I guess I mean it seems self-explanatory at this point. Can I do
It's a bit
wall jumpy? Oh, I can. Oh, okay. I can glide down a wall. So this is going up. This is an upward platformer rather than a lateral platformer.
That's right. It reminded me of a little bit of Ice Climbers.
Ew! Gross!
What?
Weird gimps on sticks.
Gimps?
I mean, I'm probably putting them out of their misery, but that's gross.
Yeah, this has got similar play styles like Ice Climbers, where you're moving up.
Do you actually remember Ice Climbers as a game? I only know of them because they were in Smash.
I don't know that they actually ever were a game, were they?
I think they were one of those. It was similar to the Game & Watch, where it was like a single handheld, pre-baked.
Yeah, but Game & Watch, sure.
Whoa. Here's what I say on a first principles interaction, first impressions. I can't help but feel like this is trying a little hard. See, Demon Baby. Like, what else is that? I don't know. Wow! It's Demon Jack Jack. I just feel like there's a little bit too much going on for the first level. Like, the music's kicking, but, like, the spectacle's a bit heavy-handed. Yeah, what's the creepy guys dangling from the roof?
Demon-handed?
Whoa! Good heavenly days! Like, my goodness, this is awfully... Oh, I'm setting things on fire. Ew, there's giblets left. I can't help but feel like something's not... Corrupt core improves the duration of artifacts. Okay, so this is an upgrade type thing, or a... Death Crisis. Goodness me, they're throwing a lot straight off the bat.
Increases green souls drop rate when you have 50%.
Improves the duration of artifacts. I mean, I don't know what the artifacts are. That seems useful. I'm getting the vibe that this may not be quite as story heavy as Slain was. If only because this kind of arcadey, like, our only path is upward and it doesn't seem to have quite as much of a, hey, come on.
It's got a bit of, like a...
There's not levels.
It's obviously significantly darker, but it's got a Sonic the Hedgehog Sega.
That is not the connection I thought.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Not really, no.
Have you played Sonic?
I don't see how you're seeing a connection.
I'm saying in that it's very... Not just platform, but it's like there's not a lot of... The simplicity of the game is like... You're just getting from point A to point B. You're not
since we're making weird comparisons, I'll throw you one. This is sort of like almost reminds me of what a 2D. Now his name escapes me. I was about to say Banjo-Kazooie. The other animal.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
I could
it's
see that.
instead of being a 3D, you're going toward like you're aiming towards the camera. You're just going up.
The only caveat I would give that is that Crash Bandicoot has, and this remains to be seen yet, but I mean it has some like cutscenes that actually do give it some backstory.
Well, this probably will. I don't imagine this is just going to be, because this could be an app. This could be a mobile game if it's nothing but this. Vault of Avarice. Okay. You're not. I haven't been established much context as to what I'm doing and why it matters.
Which is why I'm getting Sonic the Hedgehog vibes.
I suppose.
Well, because that game is purely just run around and these guys hurt you.
It has a plot. There's the Eggman stuff, and was that the first game? He's been from the first game. Hasn't he?
Dr. What is it? Dr.
Robotnik / Eggman. That's both names. One was Japanese, one was Westernized. I'm mostly disturbed by the sad dangling chain man.
I don't know that I've ever heard him called Eggman.
I believe that was the Japanese name. Whoa! I got my my Balrog whip. I don't know. I just can't help but feel like Slain set the tone right out the gate of like, this is going to be, like we said, it's felt like it was the plot of a Dragon Force song.
Yeah.
I'm not quite getting that with this. This feels a little bit more like, it is a video game. Climb the tower and kill the weird eyeballs and the weird demon babies.
Like we said, mobile.
Well, that's a little bit too harsh, but I mean, I'm trusting that. I'm trusting they're going to add something.
You'd hope.
Well, I do hope. If they don't, I may actually have a slightly different opinion. The music so far is the only thing I would say is like it's come out with a strong presence. It's weird.
That is true. I mean, I can't fault the music.
The graphics are simultaneously better. Well, this will be, I suppose, a topic is the necessary and overlooked distinction between graphics and art design. Because I would say Slain had much more cohesive art design. This obviously has better graphics because it's not quite so pixel-y chunky. Other than the fact that our main guy, our avatar, has much fewer pixels than the background, so I'm assuming that was just a stylistic choice.
What's interesting is, are they more at fault because the technology's improved enough that they should have polished it more?
Well, both games came out recently, so neither is actually old.
Well, that's true, but I mean, if you have the right tools to do it better, should you... I mean... Well, cohesion, I feel like, is a better barometer or metric than purely graphics, because graphics
what I would say.
can
Again,
really,
that's why I think art design deserves
that's what I mean.
Separate,
because graphics can really depend solely on the age of the game, and therefore people fall into the trap of like, it's a little bit like the iPhone purchase where it's like, this has got a brand new camera.
Okay. Oh, so this will take me to different levels or different things. So there are levels.
The total score was this. Your objective, still none.
Yeah, it seems a little... I'm still getting the arcade vibe, which... I mean, this music is definitely pretty rockin'. If it is all that this is, maybe that's enough, but I don't know. I'm a bit more... Oh, okay, so we got spikes. Ow, and they hurt. I should have known.
Can you attack the spikes?
I don't know that I even need to, but... Okay, we got thwomps. I don't know.
Flying demon babies now.
I mean, other than the fact that this is essentially, I guess, a highly liberal interpretation of the actual theological... I guess it started off with the correct theological basis. So we can give it that.
Obvious fact. I mean...
Doombringer. What is... Okay, I'm getting hit by claws and I'm in the middle of...
Floating demon babies.
And now there's a satyr. A Satan satyr. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, but I missed the portal. I can't go back down? Oh, that's rude. I used my teleport ability. I thought I could maybe go down. So once I climb up a level, I can't go back. So I should have gone in that portal first. I thought I could come back to it. I don't know. I need more context from a game. And Slain gave me very good context out the gate, and this...
Are arcade games, though, always bad? I mean, do you always need context with a game? Or are there certain games
I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, but I mean, there are certain games that actually lend themselves to purely being like, this is all you're doing right now.
What causes that?
It's some sort of charge.
It's like if I do it... Oh, okay, so is it just a matter of holding it, or do I have to do it while I'm in the air? It seems to be if I do it while I'm double jumping. That's the other thing, is the combos seem a bit random. I've literally just been mashing this whole time.
Well, that's what makes the best arcade games, though, is once you can just straight up button mash.
Well, no, I don't think that is true at all. Because, like, Slain actually took a degree of, like, I had to learn the combos that I had available, and the weapons were different, so I had to learn how to use them right.
So you were the type of kid that got annoyed when people would beat you for button mashing, even though you actually knew the combinations correctly.
It's a bit like being beat at chess by a pigeon. It's like, I suppose by statistical chance it can happen, but it would still be frustrating.
Sure, I don't disagree. I would hate to lose to a pigeon.
I don't know. I thought there might be more to comment on.
Now we've got some random
I think
logs.
Is this just going to be like I keep coming up and getting upgrades?
Increase.
This is starting to... I mean, it's feeling a little bit mobile-y. Let's just spawn right. Hey, I'll take that. I don't know. I think it's a generational thing, because I'm sure some people are like, oh, all I want is just context-free, fun gameplay, and I'm just not like that. You know,
I am definitely a storyboard player. Don't get me wrong. I don't fall into the camp of saying, like, arcade's the better way. I just think there are some games that you do want to be so simplistic that it's like, yeah, you just get from one point to the other.
But then again, the mobile game is the modern version of that. Angry Birds has no context.
Right, I mean, exactly.
Oh, hey, it's you guys! Okay, are they going to attempt a comedic pairing from these two?
It's bloody hot here.
What?
That's all I suggest you never go upward since
he's at his... I can't help but feel that they're going to attempt a comedic duo with these. Whoa! Never mind, I can put an end to that! I wasn't able to kill them last time. Oh. Am I going to regret that? Is this going to turn out to be like a moral decision? This game... Okay, the music in this is better, I do have to say. I can't deny that. Like...
Well, and then there's the question, can the music and the art style
save it?
carry it all by itself?
I'm not sure that it can, because I think the art style of Slain was better, even if the music of this is better. Okay, first boss fight.
This has got some Galaga vibes going on now.
Yeah, again. Whoa! Oh, I thought that was an insta-kill. Okay.
70%. Now we're into some, at least... somewhat.
But see, I don't have like an ability to...
Oh, so your naked body is Paris.
I can die. Yes, thank you. See, the fact that it gives me a total score implies that this is nothing but a tower climb, and that the only goal is to succeed with the highest score. Well, all we need is the 3-letter code name that you can use to create fun, juvenile swears. Well, I don't know. My high score goes to bum. What's yours going to be? This is not... I don't think I intended to swap with this because I thought it was going to be story focused, but I guess the board works well for this. that was my board. Fist.
That was the board.
Well, I don't know what... Just press any button, I guess. So this does seem like it is going to be a... Just go and we'll try to get a high score. I should have marked... What time did we actually start? Because I didn't pay attention.
I don't know.
Well, we'll go off the assumption that it's been 10 minutes, and so that'll be... Yeah, I guess. So I guess you can kill them from the very beginning.
I'm not going to specifically listen to them because...
Well, I think all they're going to tell us is the same stuff we already know. I don't know. Well, so it does seem to be lacking the context, which is a shame, because, I mean, again, maybe if you're not into that and if you wanted a metal version of that old ninja... What was that game that was you ran up the walls and you had to jump between...
Oh, that was hardly the same.
It's an elevated version of that. I actually
really enjoyed that game.
Wait, you're saying this game is worse than that?
I don't think it's the same because,
it's a similar concept because the only goal is to get as high as you can.
But the beauty of that game was that there was literally... I mean, it's almost obvious what the point of that game was, which was just that you're a ninja and that you are trying to defeat the other ninjas. I mean, it's like...
But there was no point to that game.
Well,
and so far, there isn't much of a point to this. Like, okay, yes, I guess we're fighting the forces of hell or something, but they haven't made that terribly clear. That's what we were doing in Slain, too, but it was far more obvious. The music, I'm having a hard time not being distracted by the goodness of the music, so they did something really well, but I don't know. Well, I was thinking we might not necessarily eschew topics, but I figured we'd let the game be primary, but this game doesn't seem to want to be primary. So I guess, should I attempt, we'll do this like a challenge style. I'll attempt one of your topics based on nothing but the...
What?
Based on nothing but the...
Why would you attempt one of my topics?
I'm just going to see if I can...
I'm going to jump into a topic I know nothing about.
Exactly.
What the context
it's like that. It's like the challenge where you give a presentation based on the slides that you're looking at for the first time while you give it.
I never was in it. What kind of speech classes were you in?
It wasn't a speech class. I've heard that it's actually like a...
It's a debate method, maybe.
No, it's there's actually like it's I guess a form of speech class or like a class that teaches you to give quality basically, but it's about literally the challenge of it is you have to give a presentation on a set of slides that you only get to see as you present them. So it's a bit of like an improvisational test. So,
excuse me. Goodness.
You all right there?
Nope, I'm having a stroke.
That's not how a stroke works.
I know.
I'm having a stroke through my nose.
How do I actually activate these?
Press I.
It's I. Okay.
Yes. The problem is I don't know whose of these were whose. I'm just going to pull a Jerry Seinfeld and go, what's the deal with keychains?
No. Well, there's certain topics I'll actually say, no, I don't want to touch that yet, because
but you're the one playing, so I won't know what those are.
What is this?
Spire oh, no, these are different. They give you, okay, so is this randomly generated too?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
You say that, but I always have a problem with that too, because it means the story is inconsistent. Every time you play, it'll be something different.
Which is, again, back to the arcade thing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that may be...
I'm just saying, if that's all it is, let's
gap
just
or even a
embrace
personality
that.
gap. Well, I might have a hard time doing
it.
I might have a hard time doing that because I don't play arcade games much. Whoa!
Okay!
Okay!
This game just got 1,000 times more intense.
Well, you're standing on saw blades! Get away! How many times can you double jump? Can you just continue to do it endlessly? Stick near the walls! Stick near the walls!
I can't!
Not the ones with saws in them. Hey, well, I'm surprised. I am astonished that didn't kill you.
I survived, but barely.
Is it barely? You've got 80 health.
Let's just...
You don't have... You actually have to pay your points or whatever those are. Souls, I guess. To buy things, so...
What?
Oh, we can't afford any of this.
Well, that's sad.
That is sad. Oh, wait, what was that? The purple thing might be the only thing we can get. Oh, reroll. How about that? So, this is going to have the same issue that things like Enter the Gungeon had, which is the gameplay's kind of fun. I just don't like, that it's random, which means, it's... Well, I guess that's inherent to it. It can't be separated. But the thing I didn't like about Enter the Gungeon was the fact that you basically had to beat it all at once. Like, if there was no save system, so it was basically you had to beat the game in one shot or else that was it. And this seems like it's kind of a similar deal.
But we talked
when you die, you start over.
Yeah, but isn't that the whole rogue type?
No, that's a part of the rogue genre, but not all roguelikes do that.
Different than rogue type, though.
Because some of them, offer you some means of... I mean, you're not wrong that is a part of it, but some roguelike games do... They allow you to have some amount of progress carries over between deaths.
So,
which basically means that if you continue to die, you'll at least still make small amounts of progress.
Oh, Sunless Sea, you would
Sunless
say
Sea does that, where
type.
whenever you die, you have to start over, but you can pass on some part of the progress you made so that you're not starting completely fresh. But also, Sunless Sea, however...
Didn't you choose, like, you could keep your memories or something like that?
You can keep the map in that, which is what I often did, which actually probably wasn't smart, because map exploration is one of the ways you gain experience in that game. But the problem is, I didn't want to find everything again, because I literally had the whole map unlocked.
So to you, it was more important.
So I was like, I know where stuff is now. I don't want to have to go find where stuff is. I've got plot stuff I want to be able to do. So, I don't know. Plus, I think Sunless Sea... I was going to say it's harder to die in Sunless Sea. Yes and no, because obviously it's a very brutally difficult game.
Okay, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't say difficult, actually. It's an inscrutable game in many ways. Like, knowing what to do is most of the battle. So you could easily die simply by not doing what to do. But this, you can die simply by not being capable. Like... You're in the middle of fights, which means if you don't do the exact right sequence of button presses, you're gonna die. Whereas in Sunless Sea, it was much more of a context. If you make the wrong choice, you're gonna die, which means you at least had some intuitive sense. Sometimes it would throw curveballs at you, but most of the time it was, if you thought carefully, you'd be able to get around the difficulties. So, I don't know. Enter the Gungeon, similar thing. I thought the gameplay was fun. It just, the fact that I know I'll never really care enough to give the time to get to the end kind of makes me go, well, then what's the point?
I'm going to do the crypt or the...
I don't know. Necropyre sounds pretty egregious. Well, okay then. I guess we're going to the Necropyre. That just sounds horrifically wrong.
There's going to be more hung bodies, probably.
Well, there are...
bodies hang from chains. The bodies hang from chains.
And that, kids, is how we learned about lyrical flow. Because that didn't flow nearly the same.
That's not true.
It had the same syllables, but that's not all that needs to be considered. You got fire coming up and saws coming down. Fire, fire, I escaped that. You keep going towards saws. Well, now you're just in the flames. What? You've glitched. You were in the walls.
I was in the wall.
Let the bodies cut the wall. Let the bodies cut the wall. Well, give us a topic that you're okay with, since apparently that's going to be a thing to consider.
Well, I mean,
I can't just go naming off based off of
we were
things.
Talking about jumping into the music vibe thing, and the idea that
you do that now. I'm the one behind the wheel of this death trap.
Okay.
Oh, I've unlocked
so
stuff.
You just wanted me to actually be the one to launch into stuff. So we were talking a bit before this, as we were listening to various subgenres, about how difficult really it has become in modern music to actually classify things. Because I think we've talked about this before, because you and I made the whole map thing of like, okay, here's how you would actually map these, and what the
it was in one of the Batman videos. I even made a link to it. I was very proud of it.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a start, but I don't know.
There's really
no what would you call it?
I just want to make sure that I'm not missing...
There's no lens that's perfect, I suppose, that you
true.
can use to say this is exactly where things go.
There is, it seems, no means of block, which means I don't see how I could ever not take damage.
Well, you just take it like a man.
And then die like a man. And I can respect that, but again, I don't want to do that in a game. I'm going to do that in real life eventually. I don't need practice.
Anyway,
Cerberus?
We were listening to... were you commenting on something on the game? I didn't.
I just picked up something called Cerberus, and it makes my fist blue.
Makes my eyes red and my fist blue. Anyway, see? Let the bodies hang from chains.
But it doesn't have the right flow.
It's certain.
I can I can electrify. I am Thor.
Anyway, but we were talking about specifically the struggle of Southern Gothic versus.
Well, you're gonna have to explain what even that is, because most people don't know.
For those of you that don't know, Southern Gothic is a bit of a angsty country.
Cowboy.
Angsty cowboy. That makes it sound super gay. It's
super ultra mega gay.
It's a bit like just a more dark. I suppose dark country is a good way.
Well, that is the other name for that genre. Is actually that.
But it is far more. The thematic elements are a little more. They're less dramatic and more.
Well, the fact that I came across a reasonable description, even as we were discussing it earlier, which is just vengeful bluegrass.
Vengeful bluegrass.
The abyssal steak. This steak sucks. I'm sorry, but if I had to review this steak, I would say it's abyssal. That needs to be an adjective we use in daily life more. Jim, this spreadsheet you put together is abyssal. Step it up.
But anyway, as we were looking at that, we were talking about some of the other ones that fit more into the maybe bluegrass camp, but not quite. My opinion is that if you are using any sort of banjo or mandolin,
doesn't that feel reductive?
It's reductive, but I mean, at what point?
Reductive is not the same as reductive.
I thought you said redactive.
No, reductive is in to reduce it to reductive. To redact something is to censor it.
No,
that's the classic FBI page with the big black marks on it. That's what redacted means.
Well, that's a form of redaction, but there also you can redact like a page by saying
by removing it,
removing things that are unnecessary. What is what now?
Shiva's playing a meat organ. Some kind of a pulsating sitar. This is the only thing I can afford, so.
Sugar time with its meat stick.
No! I mean, that's what's happening, it seems, but that's why I don't want to think on it.
Anyway.
Wait, what's the music? It is a meat sitar! This is like Warhammer. That's one of the purposes. That what do you want done with your remains? Well, I want to be donated to science, or I'd like to be plucked as a meat sitar. I'd like to be put in an undulating tube and strummed for musical nonsense.
Anyway, as we were talking about what fits into bluegrass, though, again, my classification seems to be that it's more about the elements that make up the music, whereas yours seems to be more the actual stylistic.
Reductive. Now you got me thinking the wrong word.
It's not the wrong word.
Okay, when you redact something, you are censoring and or removing.
If I am paring down a paper...
That's not what redacting means.
Yes, it is.
Redact means to literally obscure. It doesn't just mean to cut out. It actually is like...
No, you can pare down.
Because a redacted page shows the stuff that's been blocked. It's not just editing. Because
it's a form of editing.
No, it's a form of concealing.
No.
You redact something because you don't want other people to read it. Like that's...
Sure.
It's a form of secrecy. It's like you do that because you don't want what's there to be read.
It's an oversimplification
whether or not the word applies, I think reductive is certainly a better word.
Sure, because that's maybe true.
And it's certainly the thing I mean. In that you're oversimplifying it to its constituent parts when I think there's a gestalt aspect.
Sure, and that may be true because we had mentioned at one point we were listening to one of the songs and they had a guitar that definitely had banjo vibes to it, but it was not a banjo, and so at that point my argument is a bit null and void. But
I think I went to the Pounder Gallows last time.
That sounds horrible. Let's avoid the Pounder Gallows. I bet you that's what all of those bodies were hanging there for.
I was going to try and pull your let the Pounder something gallows, but it doesn't work.
Anyway, we were unpacking a few. I actually
I didn't realize it was this. I would have said no. I would have said no. Get me out of here! Get me out of here! I'm getting sawed alive.
I was commenting on a band.
I'm feeling awfully pounded. Something's pounding my gallows.
I recently came across. Well, I say recently. Within the last year or so, I came.
How
across
are you supposed to do this?
I just jumped for my life. I recently came across a band about a year ago called Arcadian Wild. It's a good band. I think they are not necessarily.
I got no soul.
I would have classified them in a similar camp to maybe Southern Gothic, but I think that we re-identified them, and I would agree with
now
more of the bluegrassy vibe.
This raises a question.
Hell's Furnace does?
Why would Hell need a furnace? Isn't Hell a furnace?
That's a good question. Maybe they just needed hotter. Much, much hotter. Maybe the things they're cooking are nice and hot and nice and spicy.
See what the Rock's cooking up.
Anyway.
You don't want to know what the Rock's cooking up now.
What does that
Got
mean?
a giant cauldron of human flesh.
Anyway, but I still would submit that bluegrass and Southern Gothic and true proper country actually have less different than in common.
Ifrit, the rancorous.
I think that there's a lot of bleed over in those genres.
Well, yeah, sure. I think that there's a lot of bleed over in every genre, though.
Yes, but I mean those genres specifically.
Whoa.
I would certainly not say that it's what is it called? That it's unnecessary to separate them, but I think
to a certain degree you start splitting hairs eventually.
Right, exactly. At what point do you get to the point that where you're going,
yeah, I think
this is pop, punk, alternative, whatever.
As opposed to post-grunge something.
But I think that is true really in any subject. Like the whole postmodernist culture is annoying to me.
I haven't heard this said.
You've never heard postmodernist?
Well, no, because I would argue we are not that. We are still postmodern.
I would agree with you, but people go, oh, but we're past the postmodern era, so we have to be postmodern. It's like, no, let's just not be.
Postmodern.
How about let's just stop?
How about we all just give up?
Or we can hang ourselves. Let's be postmodern.
I didn't even get to hear what he said.
Anyway.
Tribunal of the Wretches. Yep.
I don't know that if you know of any subgenre that better classifies a bluegrass / Southern Gothic mix, then let us know, because I'd be interested to know what the thoughts were.
Ooh, the mouth of Sauron.
The other person we were listening to. Oh,
the mouth of Sauron's got an eye in it.
So did you just randomly shoehorn in Dagon, or
no? That's what he called it. He called himself that. But
so they're Lovecraftian.
Well, no, Dagon would also be the. If they're sticking with a biblical theme, I'm pretty sure they're referring to the Babylonian. Not Babylonian. Who are they? Philistine? Okay, Dagon's got laser eyes from his mouth. Dagon goes hard.
It goes hard.
Goes hard.
And then the other person we were listening to was
in hell now, would he?
was Christian Larson, who deserves a shout out. He's actually quite.
Wait, they don't let us even keep our
points.
Yeah, I don't get to know. I want to know how much better I did than you.
Wow. Maybe you did worse. Who knows?
Well, we won't know because now bum score will never be calculated. What were some of the fun ones? Because obviously 3 letters is limiting. I mean, there's certainly one that you could go for, but that feels too on the nose. Bum is funnier because bum is... There's a humor to bum. Don't you agree? I feel like the fact that it is a more family appropriate word makes it all the more humorous.
That you're using it just as more juvenile, maybe.
I guess if the point is to be juvenile, then that's precisely it. Other 3-lettered words, though.
I can think of one right now, but
it's astonishing that no adult ever thought that kids would abuse that.
What, the context?
The 3-letter name saving, because I mean, obviously the theory behind it is it's initials.
It's supposed to be initials, yeah.
But nobody ever did that ever. I mean, only the nerdiest of nerds would be that boring.
Well, because they were proud that they actually were the ones that kept the top scores.
Yeah, but were they always?
No, the deaf, dumb, and blind kid was. Because he played him. Wow, it took you a minute.
No, I just wasn't sure how audible I should scoff.
Wow.
No, I'm just saying when you're the kid, because then then it doesn't even matter what your score is as long as you're the kid who wrote something funny.
Who's got the worst score in here? Tit.
That's what I was thinking too.
Well,
that would have been the one that I might have gone for. It feels very old British. Who's this muppet? What's that kind of low score, you tit?
It's in what is it in a summation, sir, a complete tit, sir.
What?
It's from the newest Three Musketeers. It was actually.
I never saw it.
I wish it was better. it definitely had its moments, but it was not amazing. Let's go with
time here.
The
hecatomb. I don't know what that actually means.
It's a tomb that's hecka hard.
It's a hecatomb. Well, because I was thinking at first, I was like, hexatomb? Or
I was about to say, not to be confused with the hexatomb.
If you put 6 tombs together, is it a hexatomb? Or is it the tomb of Hecate, the Greek deity?
Wouldn't that just be like a... What is that called?
It would be just a fancy mausoleum.
Yeah, I was about to say a mausoleum, yeah.
A 6-sided mausoleum. Or what if it's one grave, but it's a parallelogram?
I want my death to be in symmetry.
Well, I mean, I respect the commitment to the Art Deco movement, but there's a roof there.
I thought I could move about it, but apparently not. You can only jump through some floors, but not others.
Only the thin floors. Don't you know? I mean, it's like drywall. You haven't fallen through a ceiling yet. It changes your entire perspective. I assure you, you'll never look at life the same. Whoa, whoa!
Freezing time. That's
Freezing
epic.
Freezing time.
We freeze time.
I would have killed more things because they couldn't have fought back.
Well,
chaos grip. I had no clue what we were talking about.
I can't buy any of this.
I can't afford any of this. And we don't have the money to re-roll. Well, that's the game saying up yours.
Suck. That's the game telling me that
You could use suck as a 3-letter word, but you'd have to cut out one of them.
S-U-K, that would
Or C, I mean, whichever one you felt like.
You could just S-C-K, just...
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, perhaps the adults weren't as oblivious because maybe there's only a handful of things you could choose. But that's got to not be true. It's like typing on a calculator. There's a few that everyone knows, but when you come out with one that's totally unique, it becomes the best one. Like oboe shoes.
Oboe shoes?
Because everyone knew how to do haha, I wrote hobo on it, but it's but when you do something like that, when you're the oboe shoes kid.
I don't... Oboe? What did you...
Oboe.
Is that what you were writing on?
Yes.
I always wrote boobless.
Less, specifically. Because obviously every kid thought, I could write boob. But less?
Boobless.
Why would that appeal?
I don't know. It doesn't appeal. It's just funny. It was some story that I remember having. There was some weird, you have to this many things, and you had this person that connected with, I don't know. It was
boobless.
It was exactly. It ended up spelling boobless by the end of it. It was just a weird.
Well, you hung around strange circles.
I
got oboe shoes from Homestar Runner.
Okay, well, Homestar Runner versus apparently my much more, poor public school upbringing that gave me boobless.
Because, of course, that's a strange comparison. I was educated by Homestar Runner. Well, I guess we might as well try out the Necropyre.
This one moves a lot more slowly.
It's building tension for the Necropyre. It says you're not ready for this. You can't handle this. I don't know. I thought it would come to me as I said it.
You can't handle this.
Well, they're giving you a lot more time. This goes rather reasonably paced. You're still gonna die though. That's a door. That's a door. You gotta jump.
Oh, that's so dumb. Well,
I feel like we just need this on a sliding action. We could just move it over. Anyway. I definitely beat you that time. I was in the low 2000s last time. So.
Bottom line is...
Bright disc. Oh, blight disc. It's more in keeping with the theme.
That's gonna be my next handle. Bright disc.
That's my next indie band. We're not unlocking any of the things that allow us to do other stuff. Devil Hoof. I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know that there was much more discussion on the music scene.
Oh, you brought it up.
There's a ton more metal genres that don't need to be.
I don't buy most of them.
I agree with you.
I think you could then break it down. Every band is its own at that point.
Right.
At which point they would only be similar. It'd be neighborhoods rather than cities. But there's only a handful of classifications that matter, in my opinion. Haven't we already discussed
within metal? I don't remember whether we did discuss the metal classifications. What did you? I remember you
did, because remember we discussed Ordinogan and you Unleashed the Archers. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't think they've changed much since then. I mean,
what type of metal would this be? Just kind of a almost like a.
Well, I suppose we need to. I mean, the middiness of it kind of makes it hard to identify. It's got a. I don't know. It's hard to determine is the answer to that. It's nuanced. I don't know how I'm doing that, to be perfectly honest.
Just make a new subgenre called video game metal.
Well, there probably does deserve to be something like that. It's got an awfully Metallica-iness.
I was about to say it's a little grungy.
Maybe that's the age, though, because Metallica is sort of proto-metal.
Is it?
No, not strictly, but I view it as such, because I think metal from the 70s and 80s hadn't hit its stride.
Well, sure I don't disagree.
Some people would probably call that sacrilege, but I'm just
no, that's not sacrilege at all.
Like Iron Maiden and stuff like them. I'm like, I respect their heritage and sort of being the pioneers, but
they certainly
we've gotten better.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, some people might be like, that's not true at all. We peaked at Iron Maiden, and I'm like, well, then we're hosts.
Can you scoot over? What are you looking at? Why would you buy Soul Catcher?
Because it sucks souls towards me, and I don't have to go and get them.
I don't like big moving souls that are moving towards me.
I do. Okay, so it seems that our choices are getting limited. I don't think I like the Necropyre, but Slaughtering Spire, I mean, that sounds like the couplet of some horrific poem. Trials of the Necropyre, and die upon the Slaughtering Spire. It's the hash flinging and the stash.
The sash ringing, the flash singing. Anyway, that's
your segue, is it?
That's the
anyway.
That's the independent.
Now on to a completely new topic.
Well, I'm just saying, on a music level, I find.
No, I forgot this was the Saws. I would rather fire than Saws.
Well, sadly, you're gonna get sawed to death, and it looks like you may not be beating me this time, ladies.
How much does this hurt? It doesn't, is the answer. You can basically just ride it up. Dark greed as opposed to that light greed. Okay, I may have to. That's all I can get. Dark greed for me. Well,
no, I actually think I enjoy finding indie stuff, and by indie I mean like true like independent.
Well, that's why YouTube's a great thing, despite its annoying trouble.
Sure, YouTube is a platform.
Well, I know indie, I mean, that's basically where a lot of indie people start.
You've enjoyed the whole what is it that you use? The not Django, but
that's
to find new artists.
I mean, I've had success with that, but that does depend on
Django.
They have to be new artists in an established genre because it's a genre-based algorithm. So if it's a new artist that's trying like a totally... I guess maybe what I'm thinking of is alternative rather than indie.
Because, I'm saying
Django does not have stuff that can't be quantified into an algorithm.
Right. Where I'm saying like actual independent, like people.
Well, but I would say there's plenty of that on YouTube.
No, there is. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm saying
YouTube.
Django's one. I actually came across one recently that was interesting. It's called. I'm not going to be able to think of the name anymore.
I don't even
have
have
the
the
new way
ability
of private artists being able to get their
I did
music
do
out
much
there.
Worse than you.
But it kind of it like gamified it a little bit more, where you could
gamified it.
Well, it made it a little bit more like YouTube algorithm, where the way that people interacted with your music on this particular platform made you actually grow in popularity, and then you could.
I don't know.
And I'll have to think of it. I can't remember it right now. But anyway, I enjoy finding independent stuff because I find that
you get a much more honest.
It's a far
single
more
person. You know that they're writing their own stuff usually.
Not just that, but I think also it's a fresh take because sometimes. Especially when people go just strictly to embrace the industry that's already there.
Well, yeah, because records are very rarely try anything new.
Right, exactly. That's
why films today suck.
We can get on that.
Well,
we can jump to that random...
Films, music, a lot of things kind of suck just because it's like... No one doing new things is not financially viable most of the time. Like, you succeed once in a million and you'll make $1 million, but if you fail a bunch of times before you reach that point, you'll go out of business. And that is the difficulty of it.
I think that YouTube is a good spot for it. I don't know that I've found it to be like the best spot for it, just because...
I think their algorithm is reasonably... I think they have the benefit of just mass user base.
That's true.
So they can say, we literally have the data from like millions of users. So we can fairly reliably predict that if you like these 3 things, then, you'll probably be amongst the other 90% of people who also like this other thing. The trouble that I have with them is actually similar to the problem I have with Django, is that I feel like they're over-reliant on history. And I mean like user history.
Yeah.
Because I have found songs by like just clicking on a YouTube playlist, because they have the option in the music side of YouTube where it's like if you're listening to a song, one of the recommendeds will almost always be a playlist based on that song.
Yeah.
And so I'll often do that if I'm going to, work on something. I'll click a song I like because I'm in the mood for it, and then I'm just like, find me stuff like this. And I've had problems in the past where I've done that and I haven't been paying attention, and then eventually like one song will really stand out after like, a while of listening. I'll be like, oh, this one's really good. And then I will have no memory of what it's called, and I want to listen to it later. So the thing I have sometimes do is like, okay, well, I started with this song, so I'll just do that and it'll populate the playlist again.
And it doesn't, yeah.
And sometimes that song will be there. But then if it's been like a couple weeks and you've been listening to different music, it's going to populate based partially on the original song, but also based on your history, and then it won't recommend the same songs anymore.
Which is annoying to me because sometimes it's more of a mood
exactly
at a particular day.
Now, in fairness, I think there is an option to save a playlist to your own playlist.
Yeah, but then you end up being like me, where I have literally a whole playlist of like watch later stuff simply because I didn't want to lose stuff, and then it's like absurdly long, and I never.
Well, but I mean specifically, you can save a playlist based on this song. Like you can actually say, I want this whole song in my this whole playlist in my library, and it will import them in so that you could potentially that I don't know. I've never experimented with it. That might be the option that lets you like freeze frame that playlist as it was rather than how it will iterate in the future, which will then let you find a specific song again. Because I've had to then like hunt down various genres. I'm like trying to triangulate based on it was like these songs, so if I just keep listening to them, hopefully it'll re-recommend itself. So I've still got far too many questions for Shiva and her flesh flute.
Flesh flute. The flesh fluting flasher.
Because I mean, it's a tube amplifier full of meat.
That's one massive tube, and that has all of the inferences that you want it to have. Anyway, I don't know that I found any more accurate way of finding.
Then, I guess, is my point, because you seem to have an issue with YouTube, but you're not proffering an alternate.
It's not that I have an issue with YouTube as much as it is, I think.
I mean, it's certainly imperfect.
That YouTube had a more. It's the same thing. It's the same problem I have really with Google in that it seems a bit like YouTube has. Yeah, I know.
YouTube,
so. Yeah, I know. I'm saying Google as the actual search engine, I'm saying, because in the same way that the search engine Google will have the ability for people to pay, it's almost like a pay-to-play kind of a thing.
Oh, you're talking about you have a problem with sponsored stuff.
Yeah, that bothers me, because
I don't find that on YouTube much, but I also have YouTube Premium, so maybe that filters that out.
Anyway, I don't know.
It's like having an ad block for YouTube.
Has that been worth it
for you? YouTube, they suckered me in.
It was a
brilliant marketing strategy, because it was back in the days of YouTube Red, and I got YouTube Red specifically because that's how Cobra Kai started.
We're gonna pound our gallows.
And it's 3 months free, and I was like, that's a dumb idea. I'm just 3 months, I'll have all the use out of it I need, and then I'll just ditch it, because that's like so much time. That's not a week-long free trial. That's crazy. But they were playing the long game. Because when you have the ability to turn off your phone while YouTube's playing, or go to a different app while YouTube plays in the background, that's a feature you miss after 3 months. You get so reliant on it that the day it stops, you're like, they got their hook. They got me and I didn't even see it. So that's when I was like, oh, okay.
The hooks, me boy.
It is, yeah. I was like, I thought that they had made a mistake and I had been the one to make the mistake. So I've had it ever since. Because I can't not have it now.
They did it. They have me now.
So I would say, it's reasonably, well, it used to be more reasonably priced. It's actually gone up in price a little bit. I think it's like $13 a month now, which is like,
I don't want to die on these dumb.
Well, maybe you should stay away from them. Well,
then don't
turn off your phone then.
Gummit. They just keep. I get knocked down, but I don't get up. Never gonna keep me down.
I don't know why you had to do that with a weird.
What?
That you brought to mind the wrecker from Bad Batch, the big guy. Because it was like there was a slight Kiwi in that I don't think was in the original.
He kind of has got that vibe.
I thought they were a British group. Whatever they were called.
He drinks a whiskey drink.
Chumbawamba.
He drinks a vodka drink. He drinks a lager drink. He drinks a cider drink.
Are those the same people?
Yeah. It's the same song.
What? I only know that one, the big chorus part of it, because that's the only part of the song that ever was played.
Well, there you go. So apparently, I'm gonna die from the spikes anyway.
Probably. Abaddon's guard. What is that? That didn't look like a shield, but. So yeah, the bullet hell kind of comparison, or whatever, Galaga, where you pick up pickups.
I made the Galaga. You said what was the other one you said?
Bullet hell. I think that's more of the genre, or maybe that's a specific game. I don't know why. Where does that arise? Actually, that's a valid question. I don't know if that's a game, because it's the style. It's not quite like this. It's the style of like the old arcade. Space shooter games where where the bullets fly across the screen in like various geometric patterns and you got to avoid them. That I believe is more strictly the bullet hell genre, but I don't know if that's the name of a game or if that's just the name of the genre. That's I'm gonna have a hard time reaching that.
Anyway.
Yes, this.
I enjoy finding Mortal Kombat. Stuff.
I always do that too. That's actually why I like Epic Games for giving free games. The problem is games are a large investment of time. That is, like,
Oh, so you're saying switching now from music to actual independent games?
No, you're talking about, if you're talking about trying new stuff, I mean, I like trying all kinds of new stuff.
I find that local stuff is fascinating to me, only because I actually have a personal touch in it to a degree. Like,
what do you mean, though? Because, like if in the case dude came up to me and was like, here, I've got a band playing at this place tonight, I'd be like, why did you feel the need to tell me that?
No, I'm saying,
yes, it's local, but I think I would be weirded out more than...
Sure, I'm not saying, like, local in that it's completely disconnected from you. I'm saying, like, in the case of Arcadian Wild, I actually came across them
but that's
by
more
actually connecting
organic
with the
than
guy.
Local, because that's...
Well, maybe organic's
that's the word you'd
word
more
for
likely
it.
use.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's the difference between, a friend recommending something and YouTube algorithm doing it.
Right. I enjoy
you feel slightly more
that
invested.
Is more... It has a bit more of a curated feel. Like, it's like I actually...
Well, but the question is, technology might be superseding that.
You think so?
Well, it depends, because if...
That's the same argument as saying that Gareth the bookshelf guy is going to be outmoded by the time,
Well, no, because
Craigslist
craftsmanship is a harder thing to replicate, but an algorithm is fairly easy to set up and has way more data available to it than any person could.
Data certainly, but
that's recommendations.
Of you is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but its knowledge of you is based on the things you ask for. So obviously, when you first set it up, it's not going to know anything.
Yes, but as you
it learns and gets better over time.
Sure.
Maybe that's why I have a better experience with my music stuff, is because I've had it for so long.
But it learns so well that I think it sometimes follows some of your bird trails rather than actually sticking with your overarching.
Well, I suppose that was what I was saying earlier, in the fact that it can skew. But I still think, I don't know, because maybe you got a point. The question is how much of that is a negative thing.
No, I don't think it's a negative thing.
Because I obviously, when I'm on a rabbit trail, I want the rabbit trail.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
The problem is, ultimately, this is why I've started downloading stuff to the Zune, is I'm like, I have to make sure to make note of it when I like it at the beginning. Because if I forget where it is, I'll probably never find it, because YouTube won't help me find it again.
Right.
YouTube only helps me find new stuff. It's my job to remember the stuff, and I feel like that's a reasonable enough division of labor.
I just found it more... Gosh, this is going to sound super old school of me.
Well, you have a tube amp set up for the sound system and a Zune. So you had no hope.
And a tower that plays 8-track. So.
Yeah, you had... Did it? I didn't know it did that. I knew it has the vinyl side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you didn't really have much hope of not being that way.
I think there's a degree of purity to when a friend or, like, an actual group of people...
But see, what if they don't know you as well as they think they do?
It's not that
it's always awkward when someone says you should watch this movie, you'll love it, and you're sitting there going, I don't love it. Well, what do I say?
You just tell them you don't love it. Grow a spine.
Yeah, but then they're going to be awkward about it, and then you got to be like,
not. If they're awkward about it, then you don't need them as friends.
Well, I agree, but that's still a bit of, that puts you in a little like, okay, how much do I want to fight for this? That's all I'm saying.
So, did you like the movie? I don't want to be friends anymore.
That you would even recommend to this galls me to the point
core.
That I can't condone further association with you.
I can't do any hanging out because this movie.
Is this a boss fight? It's acting like it is.
Well,
I just have to say this game is a bit cluttered.
That was that topic, I think, fully unpacked. I don't know that there's much. What's the time? Here's your hat. What's your hurry?
I suppose this won't. I don't think this is showing up. I hope this isn't showing up.
Well, if it is, whatever.
Oh yeah, we're just at the hour mark. If that didn't show up, that'll be perfect. And if that did show up, that's just going to be humorous. So I made it to the atrocious level. Every time I collect 100 souls, sure. It doesn't sound that atrocious. Can't speak.
Chaos
atrocious.
Bomb.
Darkstalker. Well, that's... No slipping on the wall. No.
That
sounds useless. That's how I get places.
No slipping. Meaning when you're on the wall, you can just stay there indefinitely.
Well, okay, I'm taking that, except I'm going to be done playing, so it doesn't make a difference. I would say Slain was more focused.
That is a very
this
good
game
word
suffers
for it.
from a little bit of extravagance.
Look over here, look over there. We don't even know what the heck we're doing.
Yeah, like when you got a bunch of monsters all crawling on you at once, and then the background's so detailed that it's like I can't tell what's a monster and what's me and what's the thing killing me and what's the projectile that just spat in my direction.
And whether the music is even fitting to the...
No, the music, I'll say, is about the only thing that gets unqualified praise for this.
Well...
If you're an arcadey guy, this would be up your alley, but I am not, so it's not up mine. But I do respect...
I can get there
it's
on an
not
arcade
bad.
level.
I wouldn't call this bad.
No, it's not
Certainly
bad.
not. It's just not for me.
I don't know that I would play this. I would not have sought this out, but having played it, it's interesting.
Yes, I agree with that, where I can certainly see that craftsmanship and, like, you know, some cleverness and attention went into it, but maybe it's just not my style.
There you go.
Music, however, is. So,
very much
one thumb up for that. I don't know,
everything.
do we just let the music carry us out from here?
Other fingers up for other things.
Okay, it's not that extreme.
I'm teasing. Well, it doesn't have to be the middle one. Could just be the pinky.